Fantastic, guys. So today I'm with Austin. Austin is one of our traders that has got 320K under management in total at the moment. So we're going to speak to him and pick his brain a little bit about his trading, a little bit about his time being at the Fivers and all of that. So Austin, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, my pleasure. Do you want to just tell everybody a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your background, how you got into trading?
Yeah, absolutely. So I live in Seattle, Washington. I kind of got into trading more so on accident, really. One of my buddies showed me how to execute a trade on MetaTrader 4 just using a demo account.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Started playing around with it personally. Mm-hmm. And then I was actually showing another one of my buddies like, hey, this is how you place a trade. And I totally placed a random trade in the middle of, I think it was just before Asian session. And I forgot about it because for me, that's earlier in the day. It's maybe like right before noon. And in the evening, I checked my account and I noticed that I made like $2,000 or $3,000. And even though it was a demo account, I was like, man, like imagine if I actually knew what I was doing.
It wasn't a demo account. That'd be good if it wasn't a demo account, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I was wishing that it wasn't, but it's just the idea and the principle behind all this was like, man, like I literally did not know what I was doing. I was sitting in a Starbucks drinking coffee. I pressed a couple buttons on my phone and I made $2,000 or $3,000 by the end of the day. And at that time I was like, wow, like I really need to learn how to do this because there are people out there who are doing exactly this every single day and making a killing just because they know which numbers to put into their phone.
Exactly. What were you doing before you got into trading?
I did a few different things. So I was in real estate for a little while and also in corporate America. So I worked at Microsoft. I was a business consultant at Microsoft.
Mm-hmm. Big change from being a business consultant then to trading. It's quite a big leap.
Yeah, definitely.
When did you take that leap? What did you do about going about taking that leap to becoming a full-time trader?
Yeah, so for me, it was just a matter of consistency. So I wanted to make sure that I had enough trading experience under my belt to where I wanted to make at least 10 times what I was making at Microsoft before I ever made that transition. And so that was, years ago at this point. But when I made that transition, I was like, okay, I want to make sure that even if I go on a losing streak, even if everything goes wrong, I don't have that pressure to try and pay my bills using my trading profits. So it was kind of a pretty easy transition, I'd say, because I had built up enough capital and my account was big enough to where I didn't have to risk large amounts in order to make that transition. I was able to make it pretty smoothly.
Nice. Fantastic. Yeah. Then you went full-time trading, and I think you've been with the Fivers. How long have you been with the Fivers now? It's been really a year, around about a year now.
Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah.
I learned about you guys a while back. And I ended up starting one of the accounts and just kind of, did a few trial accounts and ended up progressing. And so, I've been with several different prop firms, but so far my experience with you guys has definitely been the best. And I just enjoy the trading conditions that you guys provide. I do run personal accounts, like self-funded accounts, but As far as like funding companies and prop firms, you guys are definitely top.
Are you just FX trader, or do you trade other assets as well? Maybe in your personal account or?
Yeah, so mostly FX, but I do trade gold in my personal account as well. I do like a combo. So I have an EA. I run my EA on many of my accounts, and I also do manual trades as well. So nice. A little bit of both.
So discretionary, and also you use an EA for some trading as well. That's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And you decided that when you came to wanting to trade with us, you went straight towards the instant funding. Is there any particular reason you went for the instant funding, or?
I'm just confident in my trading abilities. I didn't come in as a novice. Yeah. I came in with some experience, so I knew I had at least a pretty good idea of what to expect and what I planned to do with it. So I felt like if I didn't have too risky of a strategy in place, I'd be able to be successful with it and just continue moving forward.
Yeah,
so
100%. Fantastic. I want to show a couple of your dashboards, because you had a really good profit share. I think it was February when you took a good 15,000. I hope you bought something nice with that nice trading. But here's one of your accounts. So this is a 100K account, and this was after the evaluation, wasn't it? Or was this one after the? This is one after the evaluation.
Yeah. Or no. This is the evaluation.
This is the evaluation. So
yeah.
PM1 80 aggressive. So you're more of an aggressive trade. You hold your trades. You're intraday, so you don't hold them overnight or anything like that. I don't see many trades that have been held for days or many swings. Would you count yourself as kind of an intraday trader, or?
I would say that I'm a little bit of both. I prefer to do intraday, but I actually do hold some trades for a couple of days, just kind of depending on market conditions. Sometimes everything lines up perfectly and you execute that trade, but it just takes a couple of days for the market to actually catch up to what you're expecting to happen. I also like to throw in some scalps here and there because I truly do enjoy the process of trading. And so for me, it's like, okay, well, I have these swing trades running or maybe intraday trades, but I also kind of want to throw in a couple scalps just for fun. And so that's kind of how I see it.
Fantastic. So this evaluation, you passed pretty quickly. 22 days, you passed this evaluation, and then your account was doubled. Your lot size, so you trade quite heavy, so 10 volumes. You're quite comfortable with your risk management, and you're quite comfortable putting quite a lot of volume on your trades. You'd say that's something that you've grown into. So when you first started trading, maybe you weren't like that, and now after a bit of trading, you've got more comfortable putting on more sides on positions, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's a natural progression for any trader. When I first started trading, I was thinking like, man, I don't know if I'll ever open up one standard lot unless I really get good at this trading thing. And so I was trading 0.1, 0.2, 0.5. Like at that time, when I first started trading, 0.5 lots felt like a big size to me, and to lose or to gain, what is it? Like if I'm risking 50 pips, I could lose $250. Or if I'm potentially winning 50 pips, I'm gaining $250. For me, that was significant. Over time, you kind of understand that as your account scales, you're just trading a percentage. So I don't even really look at the dollar amount per se anymore. I like to look at percentage. So am I risking 0.5%, 1%, 2%? What am I risking? And what could I potentially gain out of this? And that allows me to stay level-headed when I'm doing this and to basically know the exact outcomes. I either lose 1% or I gain 1, 2, 3%.
And what kind of strategy, when you were first trading, obviously you didn't have that confidence putting a lot of size in. Did you like hop strategies? Did you find a certain strategy and just go with that, and that's what you're using today? How did you go about finding your edge that now you feel comfortable and confident in what you're doing, so now you can put on a lot more size? How did you get to that point?
Yeah, so at the beginning, I actually used to trade almost only intraday trades. And so I'd enter these trades and I basically would just do a one-to-one, basic one-to-one. I would trade primarily gold. And so I was trading 50 pip stop loss and 50 pip take profit. I would look for like a 15-minute range, and I'd wait for gold to break out of the range. And once it broke out of the range, I'd look for a retest and enter on that retest. And so that was the strategy that I used back then. That's kind of how I really learned how to trade. But over time, I've kind of developed a strategy that has significantly more confirmations. And that allows me to be more accurate. So I know now that instead of my profitability being maybe 60 or 70%, it's a little bit higher than that. And so I can more confidently place these larger trades because I know that, hey, even if I lose the next 2, 3, 4 trades, I'm still going to come out profitable because when that profitable trade hits, it's not only a larger risk to reward than what I used to trade, but it's also a higher accuracy trade because now I have maybe 5, 6, 7 confirmations before I'm even in that trade. So it's just a few different factors that go into it where, now it's not as risky to place larger trades.
With your confirmations, is there any particular indicator that you use for, like, do you use fibs? Do you use kind of EMAs? Is there anything like that other people could maybe look into so they can start finding their own kind of confirmations that can help them in getting in some confirmation in their trades, getting some confluence in their trades?
Yeah. So for different strategies, I use different indicators, but if I'm just swing trading, essentially I'll just look for a break of structure and I'll confirm it with the fib. Nice. And so once I have that confirmation, my fib tells me where to put my stop loss, and it rarely gets hit in that exact setup if it plays out correctly. Now, if we have crazy news like invasions and different things like that, you never know. You have all these crazy wicks and crazy volatility where, this last month has been tough, trading this last month just because markets are doing things that they shouldn't be doing, essentially.
The first week, it was everybody was, getting on a lot of trends and, getting a lot of passing accounts and making a lot of money. And then suddenly the market turns into being very choppy and it's just chopping everybody up. So it's like, you got to kind of adapt so quickly in the market. Otherwise, that's it. You're out. So definitely.
I've always had the mentality in the market that I want to be the last man standing no matter what. And so by limiting my risk, realistically, the only thing that I can control is my risk. I can't control how the market moves. I can't control what happens in the news, but I can control my risk. And so if that's the only factor that I control, and my goal is to be the last man standing, which means in 10 years, if nobody's trading, I still want to be trading, then I have to make sure that my risk is managed in such a way where I'm able to not only generate a profit, but also lose very, very little if I do.
Nice. Yeah. And do you do any kind of sports? Sorry that I asked, but it sounds like you're quite a competitive person as well. Do you do any kind of sports on the side or anything that is kind of helped you in trading? I don't know.
I'm not sure. I don't know that they really helped me in trading. I play golf. To be honest, I don't have too much time for sports at this time. I also run like a big mentorship program where I teach people how to create passive income. So nice. I have all that. I have the trading side of things. So the EAs that I develop, it's just a mix of different things that doesn't allow for a ton of free time. But when I do, I like to play golf and racquetball, actually. That's super fun.
Interesting. And you think, obviously, if you offer people mentorship and things like that, when you were first starting, what kind of resources did you look to actually get help and to help you with maybe your mindset or maybe your trading? Is there any particular resources or anything that you would recommend to a newer trader, something that could help them?
Yeah. So one of the most impactful pieces that helped me was the book Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas. Yeah, it's a great book. I think every trader should read it. And other than that, I wouldn't say I had the best experience with mentors. I did hire like 3 or 4 people where I bought their course. I watched all the material and it wasn't transformational. It wasn't like somebody sat there and literally showed me how to do it, even the one-on-one courses. And now looking back on it, I did pull valuable information from each one of these mentors. However, I still had to kind of blend it and make my own strategy out of it. So I might have learned from 3 or 4 different people and I learned their strategy and I pulled the parts that I liked and put them all together into my own custom strategy where I'm like, okay, well, I have this, and this confirming that this is going to be a good trade. And I take it. I think that nothing can beat your own time in the market and just spending hours on the charts. And I know it sounds boring, but sometimes just putting in theoretical trades, just put your idea in there and just see how it plays out. Don't even take the trade, just see what happens. And that builds your confidence because if you win 2 or 3 theoretical trades, you're going to start noticing that, hey, I'm no longer scared to pull the trigger when the time comes and I can successfully execute these trades and win them because you backtest your strategy, and that's how you become successful.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I agree with a lot of what you're saying, which is it's fantastic. A lot of new traders, when they come in, they're bombarded with so many courses, so many techniques, and it's really, I think, finding what is suitable for your personality and something that is comfortable for, you're not going to be a scalper if you're in a day job, something, many different things, you really want to find out what's best for your lifestyle and best for you, and then take that and adapt them for in your trading as well, which is great. Any kind of risk management tools or anything that you kind of abide by, any hard rules that you abide by or anything like that?
I would just say that I tend to risk 1% or less of my account per trade. And I try to do that. I don't think that I 100% stick to that. Maybe sometimes if I'm very confident in a trade, I might double up. So if I have a trade and I see it go into drawdown and then begin reversing, I will enter a second position. So in that case, I could potentially risk up to maybe 1.5 or 2%. But I tend to prefer to risk less than 1% because that just gives you more bullets in the chamber, and that's the thing with trading. When you're using your 1% a day risk, you don't want to run into a big losing streak where you could potentially lose too much of your account. Like with 5ers account, it's tough because you have a 4% loss. So if I was starting at 0, I would maybe risk 0.3 or 0.5% of my account per trade. Now, once I built up enough capital, maybe 5 to 10% profit, I would then go back to my usual 1% per trade, because now if I'm 10% in profit and I have a 4% stop out, I have 14 chances to make a profit. That's how I see it. And so it's kind of like loading bullets into a gun. That's how many chances you have to make a profit. And as long as your risk to reward is 1-to-1 or higher, and you have a pretty good winning ratio, you should do good. Yeah,
fantastic. Any more tips you would give to a beginner trader coming and looking at the 5ers? Because there's a lot of different things that once you're a trader and once you come in, there's a whole world of opportunity and funding and things like that. But for the newer trader finding the 5ers, what would your recommendation be when they're first doing their evaluation?
Yeah, so I think the easiest way to pass an evaluation is to stick to one pair and stick to the same exact time frame every single day. Just pick a time. Like the best times, in my opinion, are London Open and New York Open. So pick one of those. Pick the 1 hour before, the hour during, and 1 hour after for each. And just study it every single day and watch exactly what happens every single day. And you will find patterns no matter what. The market tends to do pretty much the same thing every day. And so if you can identify what it does and what it looks like, and you're always trading the same exact pair, you become very familiar with it. And you understand, like, okay, well, usually when this happens, there's about an 80% chance that this is going to happen. And so your whole strategy can just be based on that. Hey, there's an 80% chance that once our 30-minute candle closes above the range, we're going to continue. Or there's a 90% chance, whatever it might be. So I would definitely recommend sticking to one pair, maybe two, and definitely trading at the same time every day.
Nice. Well, fantastic. Thank you for your time today. It's been great talking to you, and I can't wait to see your growth in the 5ers as well. Hopefully getting closer to that 1 million mark soon. Let's see. All right.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.